Hi guys, we're going to do some math practice that you can turn into a game and challenge some family members. So the first one we're going to do is name the dice. You just need 3 dice. If you only have one, you can just roll it 3 times. You are going to put what you've rolled. Let's say I rolled a 4, a 2, and a 1. Okay, so I'm going to, for this game, try to create the largest number. So I have it in my standard form already, 421. I'm going to write it in number, name, or word form, 421. And I'm also going to write it in expanded form, 4 times 100 plus 2 times 10 plus 1 times 1. And I can even use exponents and do 4 times 10 to the second plus 2 times 10 to the first plus 1 times 10 to the 0. Okay. There's another way that you can play this, okay? And that would be with creating the smallest number. So now it's a variation of it. I'm going to change this and I would say 1, 2, 4. That would be the smallest number. 124 is small, but I can make it smaller by putting a decimal here. So I have it in my standard form, and now I'm going to write it in word form or number name, 124 thousandths, and expanded form 1 times 1/10 plus 2 times 100 plus 4 times 1,000th. I can even get fancy with this one by doing 1 times 1 over 10 to the first plus 2 times 1 over 10 to the second plus 4 times 1 over 10 to the third. Okay. So now, no matter which variation you're going to do this, whether you're looking for the largest or the smallest, you can turn it into a game because now it would be my opponent's turn. They would then roll the dice and they would try to create their largest or their smallest number. Whoever has the largest number, if you're playing that way, gets the point. If you're playing whoever has the smallest number, they get the point. And you could determine before the game starts how many points you go up to. Maybe 7 points is the winner, 10 points, whatever your game expectations are. All right, so now there's another dice game called Over the Hill. Now, if you're just practicing by yourself, you only need one of this chart. If you're playing with a family member, you would need one for each family member. So because no one is opposing me right now, I'm going to create one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to do 1 through 9 on one side and 10 through 18 on the other. If I was playing against my son and my daughter, there would be 3 of these, one for each of us. All right, so you're going to roll the dice, you're going to write 3 numbers that you have, and then you're trying to create a problem that will give you an answer of 1. So let's say I had rolled a 2, a 3, and a 4. I need to create these numbers, but I have to go in order, in succession. So I have to complete 1 before I can go to number 2. I have to complete 2 before I go to number 3, and so on until the end. If you are playing this and you have no opponents, you could time yourself, and then the next time you play it, see if you can beat that time. If you are playing with an opponent, you could then, whoever gets to 18 first would be the winner. Okay. So I have a 2, a 3, and a 4. Is there a way I can create the number 1? Sure, I could do 3 minus 2, I could do 4 minus 3, and I could create 1. I could also do 2 plus 3, which equals 5, and then minus the 4. But I can only use my numbers once. I can use this because it was an answer to, it was the sum of putting these two together. Okay, I could also do number 2 now, because I could do 4 minus 2, which equals 2. I could also do 3 times 2, which equals 6, and then take 4 away to make 2. Okay, and you're going to keep doing this until you get to the end. Now, I'm going to see if I can create the number 3. I can do 4 plus 2, which equals 6. So I've used the 4 and I've used the 2, and now I'm going to minus 3, which equals 3. Can I make 4? I'm not finding a way that I can create 4 out of this, so I would say my turn is done, and then it would go to my opponent. Because I'm not playing against an opponent, I would then roll my dice again and put 3 new numbers at the top. Okay, and you're going to again do this until you complete it. All right, some card games that you can do. We've all seen the math, sorry, not math. We've all seen the card game where 2 people had dealt the entire deck of cards, and the highest number that is flipped over would win, and you would try to create and get as many cards as you can by the end. That's just like this, only it's with multiplication. So the first 2 cards that you flip over would be what you're multiplying together. So let's say I take a 2 and a 6. Well, 2 times 6 is 12. If my opponent turns over a 7 and a 3, they have 21. They would win. They get all 4 of these cards. They put it on the bottom of their pile that they already have. These types of games do take a while. So you can set a time limit and say after 15 minutes, whoever has the biggest pile wins. If you want to continue and go until one person has all of the cards, you can do that. But let me know how long that took you, because I played this with my son the other day and it took a very long time and we didn't even finish. All right, so that's another, like, the multiplication game that we could do. And, oh, and yes, and that one, the person that had gotten the 21 got the 4 cards. I think I already said that, though. All right, so now we're going to do another card game where you're going to flip the deck of cards, and in order, so let's say I have a 6, a 4, and a 2. This is a place value version of that game where I have the number 642. Let's say somebody turns theirs over and they have a 1, a 3, and you're already thinking, well, they're going to win because they have 642. But they might turn over a jack, and a jack would be 11. So this person really has 1,311. So they would win, and they would collect all 6 cards and put it to the bottom of their pile. And the same thing with the multiplication one. You might want to set a time limit for that. All right. The math fraction, make a fraction. Okay, so if I have my deck of cards and I turn over a 2 and a 5, I'm going to put the smallest number as my numerator and the bottom number, the larger number, as my denominator. So I have 2/5. Maybe my opponent then does 3/7. In order to see who has the larger one, we have to find a common denominator. That one was very close. So we have 15 35ths and 14 35ths. This one would be able to take all of the cards, the 2, the 5, the 3, and the 7, and then again place it under their deck. Okay, now, there's a variation to this game as well that you could go by the order they came out. So I could have, again, 2 7s, but maybe it came out with a 5 and then a 3. So you would do your first card numerator, second card denominator. So now if I look at this right away, I have an improper fraction. The 3 can go into the 5 one time. Take 3 away from that is 2. I really have 1 2/3. I have less than 1 here, so this person is the winner, and they collect the 3, the 5, the 2, and the 7. If, for instance, you get an equivalent fraction, okay, so let's say your opponent pulls an ace and a 2, and you pull a 4 and an 8. These are equivalent fractions because my common denominator would be 8, and I get the same piece. What I would then have to do is draw another 2 cards, draw another 2 cards, okay, and this can go in 2 times, take 6 away is 1 and 3. So 2 1/3 is larger than 3/5, so the person that drew this would keep the 3, the 7, the 8, the 4, the 2, the 1, the 5, and the 3. Okay, so I hope you get to have some fun playing these games, and I look forward to hearing from you. I've been hearing from you on Class Dojo. I love it. I love seeing the pictures, the math questions. I've had drawings. I love it. And I love when I just get a little message saying that you're thinking of us, because we're definitely thinking of you guys. And we really miss you. We wish we could be in a classroom. I don't think there's anyone sitting there saying that they love staying at home doing this. But hopefully we'll get together soon. It's to keep you safe and to keep you healthy. All right, so that's the end for this time. If you need me, you can continue at Class Dojo, or you can write emello, 2 L's, at newbedfordschools.org. Bye.